One of the most challenging species to keep in captivity when we're talking about native species in Pennsylvania and the Northeast is by far the wood frog. If you join any web forum or Facebook group, you'll hear the same sentiment echoed throughout any conversation when this comes up. Does the wood frog make a great pet in captivity? The answer is a resounding no. These animals require a lot of attention, a lot of experience, and a lot of patience. I won't keep you in suspense. I too agree that most people should not keep wood frogs as pets. However, that hasn't stopped me for the past 4 years caring for Esther, the female wood frog, whose story has been long overdue and promised in the Woods and Forests Media YouTube channel. And today, we're going to showcase her and tell her story. Before I rescued Esther off of a busy road, I was very reluctant and hesitant to keep wood frogs, not because of my ability, but because of their care requirements. They need cooler environments than we normally care for our frogs and toads at home. They generally have shorter lifespans than the other pond frogs, even in the state of Pennsylvania, whether we're talking in the wild or in captivity, and they are also a very nomadic species, traveling very far and covering lots of space. One thing I noticed searching through web forums and Facebook groups about wood frogs specifically is that most people would only give them a maximum of 29 gallons. That is nowhere near the amount of space these frogs need to be able to leap and exercise themselves to avoid obesity. I don't believe my 242 gallon is large enough for Esther either. However, I can tell you she's never once tried to escape. She's never been nervous trying to get out of this enclosure, and I know for a fact that this is by far one of the biggest and nicest enclosures that I've ever seen somebody give a wood frog. So with all of that being said, it was going to be a gamble, but I was willing to take the risk if it meant saving a frog off the road and getting the chance to work with one of my favorite species in the world. As the years went on with keeping Esther, I became even more confident in my ability to take care of her and any wood frog because of my work in the conservation realm. I focus on a conservation project called Frog Week, where I promote backyard conservation, environmental stewardship, road rescuing these animals, and moving them off of busy roads and documenting them for various reasons. I encounter a lot of wood frogs in my adventures and even get the opportunity and privilege to work with them first in late February and early March. And as I've been doing this project for the past 6 years, I've encountered a lot of ecosystems and a lot of habitats in general where these animals occur. And primarily, I focus on mountainous terrain, which is where these animals thrive. I'll often encounter them living among the American toads in the edge habitats between woodlands, forests, and roads. I'm even more confident caring for wood frogs in captivity because over the years I've had the chance to observe these animals in their natural habitat, watch them catch prey and hunt, and I'm also building habitats in backyards to encourage these animals out of the woodlands, out of the puddles, and into permanent bodies of water, which we've been successful for the past 3 years at accomplishing our goal. When we talk about Esther, she's had a fantastic lifestyle living in this ecosystem, and even in quarantine, I had the opportunity to ask a lot of questions and allow her to answer those. Some of the biggest questions revolving around wood frogs is, how are they going to eat in captivity? Are they going to be a generalist predator like toads and tree frogs, or do they have more specific prey items? How are they going to handle living in a confined space rather than a larger ecosystem at large in the wild? What's the temperature requirements that my frogs are going to thrive at compared to what they would in the wild? Wood frogs cannot be exposed to temperatures in the mid-70s for very long, or else they could start to get sick and they could start to decline rapidly. So the challenge is keeping Esther at a good temperature and allowing her the opportunity to escape if temperatures would ever get warm. This means having a climate-controlled room all times of the year, and in Pennsylvania, having an air conditioner in the middle of the winter is a challenging feat, especially whenever we get inches of snow or below zero temperatures. Over the past few years, especially since going in this enclosure, Esther has been living her best life. She gets a variety of feeder insects. She has sunrise, sunset, thunderstorms, fog, and all kinds of stimulating artificial weather. She also gets the opportunity to live her best life with as much exercise as I could provide for her. Now, she's a voracious predator, and whenever she's hungry, she actually comes to the front to let you know. One night, she ended up scratching her eye off of the background while hunting a cricket, and we've actually been able to work with her putting eye drops in, and her eye has made some rebounds. So she probably has 99% of functionality back in the eye. It was a little cloudy for a while, but it's recovering. All things aside, Esther is the exception, and she is not the average wood frog. Again, I would recommend not keeping wood frogs in captivity for many reasons, but we're going to tell the story as long as we have Esther, and I can't wait to showcase her even more. But as we talk about one of the longest tenured inhabitants in the Woods Uncut, we have to welcome the black field ants, a surprise that I've been keeping from you, and a special shout out to Mac Pridgeon from Tar Heel Ants. Let's take a look at this unboxing and welcome in Queen Una and the United Ant Colony of black field ants. This is feeding and a tube to have the ants transfer out from where they're living to now. So this is what we have. This is the habitat, how it's shipped. I believe the ants are probably in this one, if I had to guess. But yeah, we'll get all this out of the packaging and take a look and see how it looks. I also have a helper, so Junior. That's perfect timing that you looked up. She knows that something's up, so it'll be really cool to see what she does whenever the ants come out. Here they are, guys. The black field ant. Beautiful colony that I got here from Tar Heel Ants. Mac Pridgeon raising these guys. I'm not really one for suspense, so their new habitat is underneath them. I still have to unwrap. Look at how big the colony is. Look how good they're growing. I'm excited. I want to make sure that I keep this colony alive and doing well and thriving. You can just see, just incredible how many ants are in here. So my little helper is definitely interested. I don't know if she would eat. Oh, look how you respond to the phone. That's kind of funny. I don't know if she'll actually eat the ants, but Ananias and Esther probably would. We'll see though. But let's get the other package part unwrapped and kind of see what we have. Ants are one of the most philosophical creatures on the planet, and they don't even know it. They have a utilitarian approach at life, meaning they prioritize the benefit of the colony, the good of the colony, rather than the individual, which means they're willing to sacrifice themselves if it means the advancement or the success of their fellow sisters, and it means the colony can live on. That's an amazing perspective at life that these little ants all share. They're willing to lay down their lives and die for their queen and their sisters. This is a completely different approach than frogs and toads have, where they focus on themselves because they don't live in a colony. It's just amazing to see how these little ants have their finger on the pulse. If something changes in the habitat, like a tube going into the main enclosure, they immediately notice and they go in to check it out, making sure that this is going to be for the benefit of the colony if they move out or whatever they decide to do. But the coolest thing was watching the ants seize control of the larger and new home that they're going to have. Among the animals I was hoping to keep on my bucket list, an ant colony was near the top for many years. I wasn't sure how it was going to happen, but I'm very thankful to Tar Heel Ants for the opportunity to raise this large and incredible black field ant colony. I want nothing more than to ensure their success and make sure the colony continues to thrive and grow in population. They're going to be an incredible pet, but at the same time, as their numbers continue to increase, there's also going to be waste, and there's going to be the potential for overcrowding if I don't increase the enclosure size in the near future. Of course, I plan on expanding the habitat and making sure the colony continues to grow and to populate a new, larger space. But with that being said, the opportunity to keep their population in check with my frogs and toads is another main reason why I got these ants. See, the black field ant overlaps with American toads and wood frogs in the edge habitats in woods and forests, not just in Pennsylvania, but throughout most of the habitat range. So all of these animals encounter each other in the woods and forests. I can't stress enough how these ants are going to be pets first and remain in their own exclusive enclosure. They're going to be regulated once their population booms and gets almost out of hand for me to control. Then we'll have the opportunity to showcase the epic battle in the woods. The black field ants versus wood frogs and American toads. A battle that always happens in the woods and forests of Pennsylvania that we're hopefully going to bring to you with this series. So if you want to watch more black field ant content, wood frog, or American toad content, be sure to like and subscribe, as we'll have more from the Woods Uncut coming soon. Thanks.